Ben, did you know that there is biblical bread infused with poop?
Yummy. Levi, would you drink from a can of water if you knew you were going to be cursed by demons?
No.
Jamie, do you think the Bible meant that we are the light of the world literally or figuratively?
That's a really good question. Let's talk about it. Levi, you're glowing. So, Toddler's Tunes.
I'm excited.
The actual song, it's called Sound Mind, right?
Yeah, I think so.
For a spirit.
Yeah, it goes, a sound mind for a spirit of fear. Well, Samuel sings, a sound mind is a spirit of, of fear.
What else does he do?
That's it for that song. We don't listen to that one very often.
Yeah, you're just like...
I'm like, oh, not quite, buddy, but okay. The sentiment is there.
His heart's in the right place. Sound mind is a spirit of fear. That's the
You're just like,
wildest thing.
I don't know about that, bud.
I've been just silently rebuking it. Just over there.
That's not theologically sound. Let me get on my YouTube channel.
doing some subtle intercessory prayer. He's like, he didn't mean it, Lord.
Start speaking in tongues.
That was an accent, Lord.
He knows not what he said.
It's not strange fire.
It's just please.
Every once in a while, you start feeling a rumbling in the ground. You're like, but it's not what it sounds like. Finally, it starts calming down.
Oh my gosh,
I love it.
It's so funny.
I love his versions of music. Like he doesn't, he just messes up the lyrics just enough for it to be funny.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
it's endlessly entertaining. It's my favorite.
He has so many songs too. He sings that are just so you're like, all right.
Like I said, once he's a little older, you got to have most of them recorded and just play them for him.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll keep all of the Toddler Tunes segments and we'll just play them for him at his graduation party.
Oh no,
That'd be funny.
Oh no, on his wedding day.
Yeah. His bag of bones.
He knows the real song now. Hopefully.
It's weird to think about, but by the time he turns like 20 or whenever he gets married,
We'll be raptured.
30, yeah, we'll probably be raptured.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
But those songs will be like oldies.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. Well, it's already happening. There's songs like from back in our day, which doesn't even feel that old.
Yeah.
Where people consider that like old.
Like
Yeah.
the 90s and early 2K.
Yeah,
They're
but
old.
Well, it's weird though because most kids today, because music sucks so bad now,
They love our music.
Really?
they're still
Yeah.
listening to it. Like
Really?
that's why Evanescence is making a resurgence. Breaking Benjamin never went away.
Breaking Benjamin never went
Linkin
away.
Park, old Linkin Park, like they consider that like I don't want to say classic rock, but that's like what they listen to.
Weird.
So when I go to cast parties,
I wouldn't listen to that.
Party in the USA is always played.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that song. so much.
What are some other ones?
Cast parties being for
children.
yeah.
Like preteens and teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but the majority of the music is
Is
they
Call
play
Me
like
Maybe
the
played?
Cupid Shuffle, I mean. What'd you say? Call Me Maybe?
Yeah. Is that played?
It's not, yeah. Not every time, but it gets played.
It's literally just our generation's music. Well, it's 90s, early 2000s. That's the big thing.
Yeah, they play our music, which is weird.
It's just because music today sucks.
It does.
Like, it's really
does
bad.
suck.
But you know what doesn't suck? Is our songs at the end of each podcast.
Pretty good. They're pretty
I've
good.
never plugged that. So there's the plug for it. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh man, I don't watch TN because I am a terrible person.
And I dislike and I unsubscribe every time.
Every time.
I do it every time.
Every time. Then you should definitely check out the end song on each episode because some of them are really good. Now,
Yeah.
some of them are mediocre at best, but we have some bangers.
We do.
We should make this one really bad just to be funny.
Yeah, no. We're going to try and put our best foot forward on this one.
Because this is the one where they're going to be like, this is the make or break.
They're
This is the make or break.
They're like, is it really good or are they just
They'll be
full of
curious,
themselves?
and you can go to the chapters. I always chapter it out, the end song, so you can get it right at the start.
It's going to come back next week with these like dark bags under his eyes from all the generations that he did.
Guys,
He's like,
I
I had
did
to be
it.
perfect.
I spent all my tokens, but I got it.
500 tokens.
I have like 3,000 tokens, I think.
3,001 token.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I kicked the camera.
Oh, I love that for me.
It should be all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was just a little tiny change.
Just a little kick.
It's
Just a little off kilter.
yeah.
Levi.
This it's completely different. This angle is much less flattering.
Better than what happened in the last episode where Ben had to get up and fix the camera.
Well, because I was shooting, I did that midnight mile, and it's like midnight out. So I had to turn up my ISO super high,
Hmm.
and which makes your quality grainy.
Okay.
But it allows the camera to see at night, and or at least see a little better.
So
anyways,
Jamie and night vision?
it was Jamie grainy.
It
and
was
like
very grainy.
It was
480p.
grainy Jamie.
Yeah, it was 480p. Like basically looking, it was horrible, and the
Welcome to
lighting
the
was
early
really weird
YouTube.
on it because it was like all like the ISO was turned up so much. I was like, oh man. I realized it though, thankfully, mid like 8 minutes in, and I was like, oh, I need to change that. So
on a
got
very
up and did
special
it.
180p episode.
right,
But you
horrible.
should watch it, Levi, because it's really funny, like how it contrasts your guys' quality. Like I asked Ben in the at the beginning of the podcast, because it's only in the first couple
Mhm.
minutes. I was like, "What's wrong with my camera?" He's like, "Don't worry, I fix it."
I fix it. It's fine.
We filmed Jamie with a 3DS.
Her and the boys watch the podcast every Tuesday in the morning.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fun. The
Our
kids.
little-
Podcast, yeah.
It's our little tradition. I really what happens is I watch the first 20 minutes of it, and then I have to go make breakfast because they're hungry.
That's fair. I
And
listen
they
to it
watch it.
It's weird. I listen to it sometimes when I'm doing deliveries, and it's always the most awkward thing when I'll say a joke and I'll make my own self laugh. I'm like, it is
pretty funny.
It is the weirdest thing. It catches me off guard because I'll forget that I say things.
There's Levi's arrogance again. Levi, oh Levi, rocking out to his own song.
Listening to my own jokes.
I
Realizing
think
how
that's
funny.
the first song we did on first ending
It
song on this
was.
show was that song.
Oh, was it the Brandon
Levi,
Jamie,
oh,
they
Levi.
can
No,
bear-
it was,
No, it was Levi,
it
oh,
was
Levi.
because
Oh
you
my
weren't
gosh.
on it.
Oh my gosh.
I remember who was it? Somebody was
Maybe
like,
it wasn't the first one.
no, it was because somebody I don't know who it was, but they were like, Levi, what's going on? They've got a song on there like you died or something.
You know what? It super did look like that too. It looked like a memorial episode because you slowly play it out and then you slowly fade my voice away. I'm just looking so happy. It's just short,
We should,
slow
every
motion.
time you're not here that we have to film, we should do a memorial episode where it's like that kind of thing where it's like a slow motion smile in memoriam of, and it's like Levi
It's only happened a couple times though, like 3
Yeah.
times, right?
twice.
Just always keep the listeners on their
Yeah,
on the edge
keep
of
them
their
on there.
seat.
Yeah.
Did he actually die this time?
I mean,
This guy never dies. I don't believe this.
it's just a gaslight.
Yeah, they're just gaslighting us for more views.
And then when I actually die, you can just have an AI me.
Yeah.
We're talking
Honestly, it
40
would-
years in the future.
right,
least.
right, at least.
At least.
At least.
At most. But you could by the time we get around to that, yeah, absolutely could make AI and no one would know be the wiser.
No
No.
one would know.
Who knows? Maybe we're all AI right now being lip synced.
So in 30, 40 years, we'll be talking about diapers on our podcast.
You know, the plushy ones always feel good on me. It's hard to
Gross.
get up out of my seat sometimes, and I don't want to.
I'm gonna have someone take me, like one of the boys, take me out behind the woodshed and Old Yeller me before I have to become incontinent.
He knows because he'd end up wearing cloth diapers.
Yeah, Jamie would make me in cloth diapers.
They're so much cheaper.
They're cheaper, Ben. Just deal with it. No, please.
We save $100 a month, Ben. Come on.
But they chafe so bad.
Oh yeah, definitely Old Yeller me then.
How would you convince him?
Sam, the aliens are in my brain again. This time I don't think I'm coming back, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm reaching for the hatchet. Oh, it's either you or me, my boy. It's either you or me. I'm raising it back. I mean, the aliens are raising it back.
You better put a stop to it.
They're telling me to swing.
That's horrible.
Oh my God.
Last chance, my sweet boy. Oh, you called me out again.
Speaking of the last episode, I forgot to mention during, because we talked about Jonah being swallowed by the whale.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention some dude just was recently swallowed by a whale.
Okay.
Just recently. It was in the news.
What
Was
kind of
he-
whale?
I don't remember. I didn't look, but
Was it a happy
I
ending?
can't remember. Yeah, I think he lived.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
'cause-
good.
Yeah, he survived it.
Well, there you go. He
Super weird.
found new faith that day.
Yeah, right.
He's,
I had my own Jonah experience.
not only did God spare me, but, that kind of rhymed.
Yeah.
It's as if I lived it.
Yeah, you can fact check that, Jamie. But yeah, I thought that was really crazy. I was like, I can't believe I forgot to mention that.
All right. So it was a humpback whale, but he wasn't actually swallowed.
Oh, I thought he was.
No.
He was just
He-
eaten,
Yeah. So like
put
he
in his
was
mouth.
in his mouth and he started to go back into the throat, but he came back out.
Oh,
Probably because he didn't fit.
probably.
Oh,
Horrifying.
yeah,
The
because
humpback
the
whales. The humpback whales esophagus is about the size of a human. So like that'd be a
Really?
really tight fit.
That's weird. Are you sure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
that's what
eat, they eat like,
They eat krill
krill, which is like tiny.
About the size of a human. That's so wild. You would
For
never
how
expect
big
it.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Doesn't
So-
need all that for krill, I guess.
Yeah.
God, he updated and balanced that just right.
Yeah.
He patched that and it worked.
It just worked.
Yeah. So it took me a second because I was reading about it, but apparently like he realized that he was in the whale's mouth and like he felt the life jacket pulling him up.
Oh my god.
So wait a minute. He felt the life jacket pulling him up. He realized how do you not realize you're in a whale's mouth?
Because it happened so quickly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everything suddenly went dark. And
Oh
then-
my god.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
That's crazy. So,
Him and Jonah can say they've been eaten by a whale.
but he wasn't actually
He
eaten.
wasn't eaten, but when you put something in your mouth, you start gumming it. I mean, that's
Getting
close enough.
gummed. What in the world?
This
Yeah.
is wrong.
This shouldn't taste like the krill I like.
And he's
Why
like,
is it
this
so
is nothing
big?
like Free Willy at all.
Get me out of here.
Hold me like the River Jordan.
Did it say how long he was in there?
He wasn't in there for very long at all. Like, I mean, like he wasn't even swallowed. So,
Yeah.
it didn't say how long, but it was pretty quick from the telling that I saw, the telling that I read.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. Only a handful of people can say they've been inside a whale's mouth.
2 to my knowledge.
Only 2.
Another good reason to stay out of the ocean. Don't ever go in.
Oh,
Beyond your ankles, stay out.
I love the ocean.
Yeah.
you know that
Jamie wouldn't go swim in it unless she could see the bottom in Hawaii. She's like, I don't know.
what's that fear where you're afraid where you're afraid of like
The deep ocean.
the deep ocean and like crazy open spaces.
I think
and-
it's called
Prairie
being
syndrome.
a baby syndrome.
Prairie syndrome is the open spaces. I don't know about the ocean though. It's weird because I used to have like a huge thing about that. Like I used to know the name because you don't know what's under there.
exactly.
And scientists don't know what's under there. But they know about space, which is odd.
Aliens.
You ever wonder about that? How they don't know what's in the water, but they know about space? Kind of makes you think that space doesn't exist. But other than that,
I'm not giving anyone the impression that I don't think space exists. I want to be very clear on my position there.
Space exists.
yeah, I mean, it's in the Antarctica, and if you look over the side of the Earth, you can actually see it.
It's thalassopia. Thalassophobia.
Huh, I thought it was called something different.
Thalassophobia. It's a weird word.
You know, it's just called being a baby.
It's called being a baby.
You know what? There are some creepy creatures in the ocean. And the ocean is still, the majority of it has not been explored. So we do not know what's in the ocean. I don't trust it.
They say that though, when an oarfish washes ashore, it means catastrophe.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
about
And
to
that's
happen.
been happening.
There's also apparently a big crack that happened on the ocean floor.
What?
Where was that from? I was just watching a video about it. It was all like, it literally like cracks down America.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I'll have to like actually
There are-
source it and fact check it before I go spewing it. But
There are fault lines. That might be what you're talking about. There
no,
are-
apparently there's like a new issue where like it's,
It's a new issue?
well, it's like, yeah, it's like, I basically after like an earthquake, the plates or something, they shift or
Right.
something.
yeah.
And
That's
they're
what
finding
causes
that it's
it.
all the way across like a big portion of America.
So a fault line.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
that's
believe
what
that.
that's
yeah,
what
that's
that's
what
called.
they're called.
That's what that's called.
Big old fault line.
But yeah, we
across
do have a
America.
fault line across them. I thought we knew that.
Well, I think that there's like a one that just appeared recently, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
one that they didn't realize was there.
Right, and they're
That's
like wondering
possible.
if it's hinting at something bigger happening or going to happen. It's kind of like the increase of seismic activity. They're kind of wondering if that's what caused this.
Or maybe it's opening up to Sheol.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
scary. I mean, Revelations, you talk about what is it? There's an angel that's under a certain, which lake is that?
The Euphrates.
The Euphrates.
Yeah, which is drying up.
It's drying up.
Complete coincidence. Don't worry about it.
Complete coincidence.
You have all this talk now of asteroids hurtling towards Earth. Of course,
Wormwood.
just
Literally
wormwood.
called wormwood.
I hope we get raptured soon.
You best start believing in biblical prophecies because you're in one.
You guys want to hear a story? Did you know that you can go to the store and get bread made from a Bible story?
Oh, okay. Like, I don't know. My mind went real literal, and I was like they take the Bible and like chop it up and put it in bread. Like that sounds real heretical, Ben. Like, I'll be
like that.
I'll be legit honest. I mean, I guess like, you know, you're consuming the word. I can see what they're thinking, but I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. That doesn't sound theologically sound.
Go on, Ben. I'm on board now. It's like a bread that came from the Bible, not
Yes.
okay.
Not literally made of Bible pages.
Why did something was wrong? There's some crossfire
It
happened.
was a glitch.
Glitch in the Matrix.
You could even see the red parts where Jesus talks in your bread. You're really consuming it. Shoot.
The bread of life.
You get to choose
I'm
what book.
just going to stop that right there. We're just going to keep going.
Do you have some Isaiah bread, please? We're all out, but we do have Luke and we do have Matthew.
Well, ironically, this is called Ezekiel bread.
Oh.
And it is a very expensive, healthy bread.
Okay.
Is
'Cause
it
it's-
healthy?
Yeah, it's made from sprouted grains and things like that. That's the claim. And
Low
there's,
GMO.
there's science to back it up.
We bought it
we
for
can talk
Samuel,
about it,
so
yeah.
I just didn't know
Yeah.
if you had found anything otherwise.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be really good for you, sprouted grains and everything. And they get this bread and they sell it, and you know it's in the stores. It's been in stores for forever.
Okay.
And so they get it out, the recipe basically out of Ezekiel chapter 4. And Ezekiel, he was actually a prophet in the exile Babylonian, where they were exiled in Babylon period, which was like 6th century BC. Yeah. So during the Babylon exile, there was this prophet named Ezekiel, and he would perform symbolic acts as a way to convey messages to Israel from God. And God asked him, hey, I want you to make some bread. And he gave him very strange instructions with this. So keep in mind, this Ezekiel bread we can get now. Like, this is where they pulled the inspiration from this passage in this account. So God tells Ezekiel one day, he's like, hey, I need you to do some things for me because basically Israel's going to be laid siege on for so many days, 390 days to be exact.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's how many days. And there's going to be a famine. Either the famine was 390 days or the siege was, I can't remember.
Wow, Ben, what you brushed up before this one.
Yeah, I really did. I did too. That's the
Pastor
crazy
Ben.
thing. I did too. That was a dumb thing, and I can't remember now. But regardless, he gives him a recipe, and he says, take barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt, and put them in a storage jar, and use them to make bread for yourself.
Okay.
And then he said, you're going to eat this. You are to eat it during 390 days while you lie on your side. So you get this water. You basically got water and you got bread. And he's for 390 days, he's going to lay on his side to represent.
For like a year and a month.
Yeah, a year and a month to eat it. And it's going to symbolize their the siege going on, the defilement. And so he's like, you're going to do all this, okay? Now,
what was the significance of like lying on his side? Is there anything on that?
I'm not sure. I didn't when I read the account over again, I was kind of like, I don't get why he was facing Israel when he did it.
Okay.
But I don't know why the lying on the side. Now, the things that he chose for the bread that God chose to put in the bread, like the barley, beans, lentils, spelt, millet, it really reflected like scarcity, as these were ingredients not typically combined in bread during that time. So during a siege, people would scrape together whatever grains and ligaments they had, or like little bean things.
You mean legumes?
Yes, ligaments. I was thinking ligaments. That's not right.
I was like, wait, ligaments?
No.
Everyone's wires be getting crossed.
Yeah. And
I'm thinking Bible bread. He's thinking ligament bread.
There was
ligament
another
bread.
glitch.
Yeah, I was like, ugh. But a lot of these things were also like barley, for instance, was a cheaper and less desirable wheat. Often used by the lower classes. Spelt was an inferior wheat variety. Mixing, what are they called? Legumes and grains wasn't very like super typical, and so it was to emphasize the abnormal circumstances. So God wanted to get across that you guys are going to have a time with this siege.
That's interesting though. So it's all these like lesser ingredients, yet now it's this pricey bread.
Yeah, because it's sprouted. Yeah, I know. Well, this is where I'm getting at, and this is why it's funny, because not only did God tell him, okay, you're going to get this bread and you're going to make this, he puts it in a jar, and then you have to, fire it up and heat it in some way.
Right.
So how the Lord tells him to heat it, he says, now listen, Elisha, you're going to take human dung and you're going to set it in the fire, and that's what you're going to use to heat your bread.
Gives it a bit of a funny aftertaste, no doubt.
Elisha.
Is dung flammable?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Poop is flammable.
Gross.
And Elisha was like,
gross.
Lord, please no. He goes, this would be unclean. And
Yeah,
so
it
the
would
Lord
be.
relented, and he's like, okay, you can use cow poop instead. And Elisha's like, okay, that's fine.
Hey,
The methane, I mean, it'll burn a little better.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
it's better than human. It's better. It
So-
really is. It is cleaner though because of their diet.
Oh, you're probably right. Just
They
Yeah.
just eat
straight
grass.
grass.
Yeah.
So
So Elisha, for 390 days, was on his side. He had to do it for another 40 days on his other side to represent Judah's problems that
Okay.
Judah was going to go through.
like, did he just lay on his side for literally that whole time? Did he not get up for anything?
I imagine he did get up to use restroom and stuff, but I imagine for the most of his time, he was probably laying on his side.
Sounds a
Wow.
lot like a fast, doesn't it?
I mean,
Like
yeah,
a really
Yeah.
He has to
hardcore
eat.
fast.
Yeah, very hardcore.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, so he had to lay down on his side, do all this, and eat poop bread. Basically.
Poop infused bread.
Yeah, smoked. Smoked. You know how they smoke things?
Poops or smoked bread.
This tastes a little gamey.
It tastes great going down, but it's your breath you got to worry about afterwards. I
Right.
mean, you can really just, it has a real strong taste. Little Barney.
Not very good.
Not very good.
Taste a little beanie afterwards.
Some scholars cite the Babylonian Talmud, probably. And I'm not going to even try to pronounce its address, which recounts a rabbi attempting to make Ezekiel's bread and finding it so unpalatable that he gave it to his dog, suggesting even the dog refused it. It kind of highlights the bread's poor quality and like the symbolic nature of it, like being a sign of hardship.
The dog looks at me, what's wrong with you?
Why would you do this?
I don't want it.
Even dogs like the smell of poop though.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
was really bad.
Not this
Not that.
bread.
Not that bread.
that.
Oh, thank you.
So a company came along, and this bread is a sign really of God's judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And a company came along and they said, you know what? That's a great business idea. Let's make that bread. It's going to be great. And they slap on Ezekiel bread on the front label, make it with all the ingredients. And they're like, we're going to sell this for a crazy price.
I do remember it being expensive though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really expensive.
How much have you
It's-
seen it go for?
I can't remember now. I think it was like when we bought it, like, was it $6 or $8 a loaf or
I want
something?
to say it was 6.
Fact check that, Levi.
I want to say it was 6, but that was almost 2 years ago. So,
You know why I'm doing it?
are you going to buy some?
I totally am going to buy some.
The flavor of the bread, it really doesn't taste
not bad.
terrible. Yeah, but it's definitely not.
It's not good. I remember
my
my
favorite.
grandparents would buy it, grandma and granddad, and they'd make sandwiches on it. And I was like, what?
It's around $7.
Okay.
$7 to $9. So it's
Okay.
not
So-
the worst.
So, yeah. That's pretty pricey for bread.
If it's healthy bread, though.
It's
Yeah,
a
it is.
small loaf though.
And it's a small
It is a
loaf.
small. Now, do they still use the cow poo?
That's the important thing that you need to know. They don't. I really think it takes away.
You know, there's just a flavor that's missing. It's like when you go to a different place that kind of looks like your home but isn't home.
That's what it tastes like.
It just tastes like artificial home.
But yeah, recent studies like Nutrition's 2018, the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism in 2012, highlight the that sprouting grains reduces anti-nutrients like phthalates, increasing the bioavailability of nutrients such as vitamin B, iron, and zinc. It supports nutritional appeal, which supports the nutritional appeal of the modern Ezekiel bread.
That's interesting. So even though he had him fasting, and the recipe would make you think that it was like a lesser recipe, like you're not getting as much stuff. In general, he was taking care of his nutrients with this bread.
Yeah.
See, that's definitely
like-
interesting because, like, even the way you accounted it,
There's going to be hardship, but God's still going to in his mercy still see you through it.
Well, more so.
Provide for your needs.
Yeah, and like it's crazy because you think about it now, and now this is considered one of the healthier bread options, if not like the
Right.
healthiest. And it's just interesting because here comes this recipe back in the day that was meant for a judgment,
Right.
and using these ingredients that were considered to be subpar compared to the others, when in reality, now
Less
we look back at
desirable.
it. Yeah.
And I mean, it'd be less desirable for taste and all that. But as far as health wise,
And
yeah.
it's sustaining.
Yeah.
I'm sure it sustained him in that time. I mean,
390 days, you would have to for a year. Think about that, a year and like a month, basically.
yeah.
Like, that's a long time.
That's a long time to just eat one thing,
yeah.
let alone
Yeah.
something.
Is it a
that
year
it's
and a month or a little longer than a year and a month?
There's 365 days in a year, so
Yeah, it's a year and a month.
Summer.
another 30 days leads you to 398.
Okay, mathematician over here.
That's one thing me and Ben have
I
always
couldn't
been
remember how
horribly
many
bad
days
at.
were in a year. I was like,
Our
You know
math
what?
is just not great.
The CIA or FBI or whatever tried to recruit me once upon a time. So.
Fact check that, Jamie.
fact check that.
That's the two things we've never been good at is math and then Ben spelling.
Oh my gosh. Don't even. That's why I
Like,
can't read
what were we
either.
trying to spell earlier? We were trying to spell husband.
Yeah. I was trying to spell it out to my dad and I was like HU
ESBAN, right?
And I was
I
like,
had to-
I just like my brain started like loading, and Jamie's like, "Oh, it's this." I'm like, "I had it.
it was there was visualizing.
It was going. It just took a little bit.
It
It was
works
just-
better if I can read it in my mind, and I have to make the letters first.
It works better, and I read it in my mind, and then I have to unscramble it in my mind to read it."
With his dyslexia, yeah.
You ever see a crossword puzzle? It's a lot like that. There's a lot of other words in there too.
Yeah,
Ben was buffering.
yeah.
But that's not it.
Just switch these two. Got it.
But I do have some points for that. I did find but.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's the story of Ezekiel bread, and their weird deciding to like, hey, God's judgment, let's make a business out of it and make bread out of it.
I wonder if they read the whole story, the whole account, and like processed exactly what it was happening.
They read halfay through.
They just got to
made
like
the bread.
they just got to the recipe and they're like, that's it.
Because you know how some people are. They'll be like, okay, what recipes are in the Bible? Oh, they've got a bread recipe in there.
Or they'll do a Daniel fast.
Oh man, I am gonna try Ezekiel bread.
Try an Ezekiel fast.
Yeah, try an Ezekiel fast. Only eat Ezekiel bread. You can get it. You'll go broke doing it, but you can get it.
Yeah, especially if you lie on your side all day, every day
Right.
for a year. No job.
Yeah, but that's funny too, because prophets had like people that were they're like basically patrons and stuff and things like that, and so someone was like giving, you know, like making sure he was still taken care of while he just laid on his side.
So like, and maybe this is something to go into at another time, but like you mentioned how they have patrons and stuff. So would they get like offerings from the temple and stuff?
They would eat
Like
offerings
priests?
from the temple. Well, the priest would. Prophets, they had. Oftentimes, they would have patrons, or they would rely off the land. They would, forge for their own stuff, make their own stuff, do their own thing too.
Wouldn't they be
Some of them
offered
had their
meat?
own jobs, but oftentimes, prophets, not often, but a lot of times, they would have people like patrons, like whether it was kings or whatever, that would seek their advice and stuff.
Oh no, it's priest something.
Yeah,
Because
you're thinking priest.
they would go in and there would
Because
be a boiling
I went
pot.
that way, and then I was like, oh, wait, that's priest.
Yeah.
But
People would get ate up with that too.
Mhm.
When the priest would come in and get their meat from the pot.
They gave David some in his men while he was on the run, and Saul killed him because they helped David.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, Saul, he was a.
But yeah, so prophets, they would sometimes have patrons and stuff like that, and like we talked about in the Elisha episode, wherever that was. whatever episode that was, they would sometimes even have a house full of them, of these prophets that they would, do stuff. So
That's wild that Saul just killed them all. I mean, Saul's such a weird figure.
He's
such an odd figure in the Bible. He starts in such a strong direction. You know what I mean? Like there's obviously like the flaws, but it's just wild how one event just totally changes the trajectory of his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How disobedience just led him to a totally different path.
That always wilds me out.
Yeah. You know what wilds me out?
Your mom.
Ruined my segue. Ruined my segue.
What wilds you out?
Never mind.
Never mind.
You know
He's
what?
taking it. He's crumbling up.
I'm
He's
I'm
throwing it over his
crumpling it up,
shoulder.
throwing it out.
Not even going to use that segment anymore. We're
No,
going to a
fine.
whole different segment.
Whole different thing.
We're going to talk about how space doesn't exist.
No.
Ah.
So we're going to go on the topic because I don't want to go down rabbit holes.
But I have so many.
Apparently,
Retreat.
Closet portals. Let's go for closet portals.
stop.
A room within a room.
Apparently, the Bible talks about us being the light of the world, a city set on a hill that cannot be hid.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's
Salt of the earth.
Jesus, the light, in us, him and everything. And when we're born again, we're made in that image. What's really fascinating, though, is our bodies give off a faint glow that is invisible to the naked eye.
That's crazy. Fact check that, Jamie.
And apparently, when you die, the glow goes away.
Weird. What now?
Yeah. So we give off a faint glow. And so it was first discovered in 2009.
Okay.
But a newly released study of ultra-weak photon emissions found that not only that humans, they give off light, a glow so faint that it's impossible to see with the naked eye, but the glow disappears upon death.
Really?
Yeah, and this was in 2009. It was, this latest data compiled by scientists from the University of Calgary and published in the Journal of Physical Chemistry Letters, analyzed the phenomena. And it comes from basically emission of biophotons. So apparently how your body metabolizes things and stuff and the energy it creates, I guess, in some sciencey way. I read the article. I'm not that smart.
No,
I didn't get half
You
of
are
like
smart,
I didn't
Ben.
get half of like maybe a little less than half, but I didn't get some of like the wording there, verbiage they were using.
Aw.
That doctor
And so I
just
was
outside
like,
the camera.
I don't quite get this, but basically, as for how it works, the powerhouse cell, the mitochondria, releases microscopic amounts of reactive oxygen species, or ROS, a byproduct while it's producing energy it needs to sustain life, or needed to sustain life. So the ROS then reacts with other molecules in the body, like proteins, lipids, fluorophones, which in turn emits biophotons that give off light.
That is fascinating.
So, and it's not just in humans; it's living things in general. They observed this in mice in the study, but it's really interesting because it's kind of cool. Like, just a cool thing. Like, we are the light of the world. See, sit on a hill and stuff. You have scriptures like that and everything, and then come to find out we're all little candles.
Yeah.
We're all creatures
What's-
of light.
What's
We are
really
creatures
cool?
of light.
What's really cool though too, like to piggyback off of that, I didn't realize that humans did that, but I did see a video not too long ago, and I couldn't find it again if I tried, I'm sure. But I saw a video of a human egg being fertilized. And
Yeah,
it
and
did
Oh,
that
yeah,
exact-
yeah,
It
yeah.
did that exact thing.
There's a flash of
there's a
light
flash of
at
light.
conception.
Yeah, at conception.
Which is really cool. But it just made me think of like, humans being made in the image of God and how God is light. And so it's kind of a cool contrast too.
Right. So like the more Christian you are, the more you're going to glow.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
And the brighter you're going to glow.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly what I was thinking. I mean,
That's exactly it. So
that's doctrine.
yeah. Yeah, I think we can say that
Safely.
we could safely say that. And if you're not glowing, that means you're just not
Not a good Christian.
not a good Christian.
You can actually determine someone's faith by how bright they are glowing. See, Ben's a pastor, so he has authority, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Why
can-
you think Moses' face shone?
It's all biological.
Yeah.
So if you like and subscribe, you might glow a little bit more.
There we go.
For each comment you leave, your glow grows brighter.
Make sure you share so you can share the glow.
We are light creatures. We are things of eternal light. Each one of us embodies a star. That's why we're called star
Oh
children.
my gosh. Oh no. Stop.
It's a
Stop.
real thing.
We each glow so bright that galaxies can see us far off in the distance.
And that's how you get into New Age.
How did we arrive here at New Age?
Wait, this is all making sense to me. I feel like I know all this. I've always known it. Guys, I think I found my calling. I want to be a cult leader. I always knew
I'm a star child. What studies were those? I need to go find them.
from the
Wasn't
planet.
it the last episode that Ben said that it would be easier for you to be a cult leader
I think it was a
than,
couple episodes
than
back.
something else? What was
Yeah, I
that?
can't even remember now.
Now Levi's actually trying.
I feel it. I've always been from the planet Xenu.
after
come.
much
Beep-bo.
prayer and consideration, I've decided to be a cult leader.
After hearing we give off light, I just couldn't not.
It's in that moment that Ben basically told me I was the chosen one, and everyone should follow me, and I need at least 5 wives.
You sound like Joseph Smith.
It's growing by the moment, Ben. It all makes sense why I listen to my own theme songs, why I laugh at my own jokes. It's because I'm amazing.
Because I'm great. You want to hear something, though, not so great?
Oh, but this was really fun.
I had found my calling, but now you're bringing it all down. I was trying to think of
I'm
cult
bringing
names.
it down. I'm reining it in.
The Sea of L, that was going to be one. I like all these names. The Church of Eternal Light, that was going to be a good one. The Star
Someone's going to watch this
Children.
and be like, oh, we should change our church name.
This Levi guy, can we get into contact with him?
But you guys want to hear something that's not so good? It's opposite of good.
Bring us down,
I
man.
guess.
Bring you all down.
I
Give
guess
you a
we
downer.
were having fun with Levi's cult, though.
It was
Well,
getting pretty big.
We're getting into another one.
Oh, okay.
No, not really. But
Oh.
probably.
Darn it.
Probably some culty things going on after you hear what they've been doing.
oh, no.
Oh, what they've been. This is gonna be bad.
No, especially the quotation marks they.
So there's a popular water company called Liquid Death.
Yeah, I've seen some of their stuff. You know, it's weird. Because it's actually pretty cheap. I've been tempted to get some of their stuff, and then I read the name. I'm like, nah, I'm all right. Because it's like
you won't want to touch it after we talk.
it's funny. I mean, it's weird, but a lot of these places, I mean, they'll just tell you what they're doing outright. I mean,
Yeah.
Liquid Death. I mean, like there's certain drinks that have like skulls on them that I won't get.
Yeah. And so this is called Liquid Death, already kind of red flag and number one. But you know, it's their marketing and their advertising. We're advertising to the Rebel and all this other stuff. You know?
serious.
Yeah. So this kind of edgy type advertising they do that's been pretty effective actually, and so they're pretty popular.
Oh, I'm sure.
But what's fascinating about what they've been up to with their campaigns,
Okay.
their advertising campaigns, in 2019 they came out with a Halloween campaign,
Oh, good.
and it was certified cursed is what they called it.
Oh.
And so Liquid Death hired a practicing witch named Mystic Dylan, described as a real witch doctor from North Hollywood, California, to perform a ritual cursing their October 2019 inventory of canned water. The campaign, titled Certified Cursed Liquid Death, claimed that drinking the water would turn consumers into magnets for demons.
Why? Why would you want this?
A video showed Mystic Dylan chanting, drawing sigils in a smoky warehouse to cast the curse, with disclaimer noting that liquid death was not responsible for any demonic consequences. Furthermore, consumers could purchase a spell to undo the curse for 99 cents.
Are you serious?
So, and there it's all like, oh, we're just playing, it's
just
just a joke. But you're hiring a real witch doctor, really weird stuff, and you're cursing your stuff to make you a magnet for a demon.
See,
I'm like, no.
It's
but you know
annoying.
what? People bought it.
Yeah.
People bought it knowing
that was
exactly
their-
what was going on.
That was their number one month
Oh my gosh.
of selling that year.
It's crazy how, I mean, we talked about this a long time ago, but how these people hide behind the arts to do their rituals. Either humor, either like just genuine performance, or like music. It's just interesting how they're always hiding behind that stuff so they have that plausible deniability.
Right.
They're able to say, oh, you're just taking it too seriously.
And yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh, you just take it too seriously, but we're gonna hire a witch doctor to do this. Now, they could have stopped there,
Oh, there's
but
more.
did they?
What?
No. 2020, Halloween of 2020, they did
Oh,
another
no.
campaign since that one was so successful.
The first
And-
one was in 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man,
And
it's
so
like, thank
this
God he
one-
gave me the check on that, because I'm, how I am with trying new things.
I know.
If it is new, it doesn't matter what it is, how gross it
It's
sounds.
like
I'll
fly to poop.
I'll try whatever. It's if you give me something new that's semi interesting, I'll try it. And yet I would see those cans. I'm like, man, there's just not.
Well, in Halloween of 2020, they had a demon infused campaign. So
Oh my gosh.
Liquid Death escalated the concept and hired another witch named Jaddernack. Weird witch name. To trap real demons inside limited edition cans for Halloween of 2020.
Oh my gosh.
So the campaign used augmented reality and Instagram filters, allowing users to scan the Liquid Death logo and see a virtual witch hovering over the can.
Bro.
So when they bought the can, you could like basically scan it and like see a virtual witch hovering over it. Consumers could purchase $1 off coupons for an exorcism to avoid possession.
Like, you're messing with stuff there. Like, not only
With the brand selling 1,000 such coupons.
could you imagine having
In
to answer
2019,
for
they
that?
sold 1,000 of them.
Like, there's two different aspects to that.
Crazy.
There's like the people that obviously are having this done to them, right?
Right.
Imagine being the CEO or whatever and dying.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know when your time is, and now you have to answer for that.
Yep.
You have to deal with, the judge looking down at you and saying, you cursed all these people for financial gain.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Balaam did.
It's
Yeah.
worse in
Yeah.
a way.
Mm.
I don't know.
I mean, it's about the same.
when you're sitting
Well,
there
no, I'd say it's
knowingly.
worse what Balaam did, 'cause he knowingly cursed God's chosen people
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's like when you're knowingly.
after he was told not to multiple times.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. But it's just odd to me. It's like when you're sitting there making games, and you have to wonder how much of them knows versus how much of them are just being used ignorantly. You know what I mean?
Well, it didn't stop there, Levi.
Oh, there's more. Why?
2022. I mean, they did a Super Bowl thing. They placed a $50,000 bet on the Super Bowl underdog for Super Bowl whatever that was. I don't know who won this one. I'd have to look. But they hired an anonymous witch with 42 years of experience to attend the game and cast harmless spells to influence the outcome, causing fumbles or missed field goals, etc.
Just a joke, bro. It's all just fun.
A teaser video featured the witch in candlelit room with props like skulls, dragon's blood chunks, promising to use celestial influences like the sun, Jupiter, and Mercury, which all that is
Astrology and such.
astrology and what they use today. Like a lot of what witches do today is aligned with astrology to sway the game. Half of any winnings were pledged to the brand's Death to Plastic Death to Plastic initiative. So
We're doing it for charity. We're cursing you with harmless curses for charity. You can't hate us.
well, the football team, yeah, they were trying to let the underdog win. So they did that. And then right now, apparently, they have an ongoing campaign with Steve-O, of all people.
Okay.
Uh,
Jack.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they collaborated with the stunt performer Steve-O to create an all-natural Steve-O voodoo doll,
Oh my God.
which included a pouch of Steve-O's hair and ritual salts activated by a real witch doctor. The doll allowed users to perform voodoo on Steve-O, who would supposedly feel the effects. So that wasn't a Halloween campaign.
That was just a campaign.
What
Yeah,
the
that's just a
heck?
campaign.
Like,
So,
what the heck?
I mean, you go, okay, once, oh, it was just a joke, but they keep on this weird
witchy stuff.
witch rituals,
Well, they're hiding in
Cursing
plain
your-
sight.
cursing your product, for the consumer, things like that. It's just absolutely bizarre.
Well, and other companies do this all the time too. I mean, you had Microsoft come out for their, I think it was for their, it was either for their version of Google Glasses or whatever they have, right? Basically,
I
their
don't know.
VR glasses. They came out with an ad where they had Marina Abramovich do a ritual, and it was like the weirdest thing because it's like this has nothing to
That's
do with
scary.
VR, but she's sitting there doing this. Well, she's doing a performative art, right?
Right.
While she's drawing a circle and dancing around it, and she's known, if I'm not mistaken, she's a very open witch.
yeah.
And so it's like you have these big companies doing this, and it's just it's hiding in plain sight.
Right.
And it's weird because these companies are very open about their bizarre spiritual beliefs, right? And so they obviously believe it, and their goal is to make you not believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
they
what
want
always
you to think that this is all just a joke. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
It's just for kicks and giggles.
And you look at like CERN's weird. I mean, even CERN, right? CERN has all these weird art videos they release that are very ritualistic. And again, they hide behind the front of art. Oh,
Right.
it's just artistic freedom. But you watch and they're just doing rituals. Or even, you had their April Fools where they're all out there doing a mock human sacrifice. Now, this sounds like Alex Jonesian. This sounds like a tinfoil hat thing. But they do this mock human sacrifice that someone catches on camera in front of a Shiva statue, and someone calls them out. And instead of even denying it, they go, "Oh, it was just a joke, bro.
Right.
It was an April Fool's joke that we did a mock human sacrifice." It's like, that's super funny. Like, that's going to get a lot of
Super
people.
funny.
So, yeah, it's weird stuff that they're doing. And like, I'm highlighting it because like, it's just bizarre. Now, I'm not going to say, don't go out drinking liquid death. You can get into all sorts of debate about like meat sacrifice to idols and things like that.
Right.
And it's like, whatever. Like, it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but at the same time, I'm not going to drink it. I'm not doing that.
Well,
I don't want it in my house either.
Pass.
well, should a Christian be supporting stuff like that? Should you be financially giving money to that?
Yeah.
And so it's,
that's a, if you know about it, it's like, it's kind of like how I feel about certain media companies that openly say, hey, we want to broom
Unalive and
broom your children, and can't say that word on YouTube. And
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and then it's like, do I want to give you money and support you? Nah. I'm
Yeah. In
good.
a leaked Zoom call, they said it. And,
Yeah,
so
it's like, it's not like an unknown thing, but like, if you don't know, you don't know. But at the same time, it's like, do I want to give my money to a company that's trying to release curses on their consumer? Probably not.
no, that are being very weird and hiring multiple witches to do.
And it's not like even a fake witch doctrine. They can say, oh yeah, it's just these silly performance stuff. But it's like, then why are you hiring a real witch to do it? Like a real professing witch to do it?
When you had one actor, I can't remember who he was, come out recently, was just talking about how sick he was of just how open the occult has become, in Hollywood and California, and how like these companies are embracing this occultic practices, this
Right.
occultic ideology. And I mean, you see it openly. I mean, if you look, and you don't have to look very hard, they're hiding in plain sight. They're telling
Yeah.
you what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
showing you. It's insane.
Yeah, it's wild stuff. So Yeah, if you didn't know about liquid death, now you do. And liquid death is, I think, an apt name for them.
Well, yeah, and like, should you be drinking? Even just there's power of life and death in the tongue. It's one of those things where why are you drinking something called liquid death?
Putting it on your tongue.
I mean, again, I'm not gonna. You could go.
I was just
you
making
could
a
talk
joke.
about. No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you could talk about meat sacrificed to idols, and
Right.
if it doesn't burn your conscience or sear your conscience, then if it bothers you, then don't do it.
I'll say personally, I would be very careful of that sort of stuff. When you're partaking in things that are glorifying or branding themselves off death,
Right.
you are bringing something upon yourself. That's what I think. People say, I guess, people can make excuses for it. I wouldn't.
I mean, I'm not going to go and drink it myself personally. I'm just saying, like, if it burns your conscience, don't do it. But if it doesn't burn your conscience, it's the meat sacrifice to idols could apply. It could apply, but at the same time, wild stuff. Something I wouldn't do personally, but, I'm not, like, condemning anyone for doing it either, because it's like,
Yeah.
if it doesn't burn your conscience,
Right.
it doesn't burn your conscience.
I wouldn't condemn like ignorant people of it, but I would say that if you are personally, if you're
Levi's out here condemning people.
if you're actively partaking in a thing called liquid death, I mean, I'm not condemning you. It's just that's going to bring upon some repercussions, I think, at some point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
Opening a can where the intention is to curse the consumer, I definitely would think twice before doing that.
That's my take. I mean,
Yeah.
I am.
But at the same time, if you're covered in the blood of Jesus, can it affect you? Like I'm kind of on the same stance as you. Like if
I
you're
would
covered in the
say-
blood of Jesus.
I would say there's a point where, again, the Bible talks about, and Paul's clear about, eating meat sacrificed to idols. And, Jesus says it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but what comes out of the heart. Now, at the same time, on the same token, if I knew about this, I'm like going along and going, okay, these cans were cursed. I'm going to try one. I'll buy their little certificate of exorcism, whatever.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like a door.
If I
That's
knew all
yeah.
that was going on and I'm participating in it, there's a difference between drinking it, the brand and whatever, but there's a difference in participating in what they're doing, if that makes sense.
Yes.
If you knew the campaign, you know what's going on, and you choose to participate in it, I think then you're kind of getting into some territory you probably shouldn't be opening those kinds of doors, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
For sure.
And it kind of reminds me, and this might not be directly of it, but at some point it feels almost like you're tempting God.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of those pastors. They'll sit there with the venomous snakes, and they'll have them.
yeah.
They'll sit there and get like,
Dance and
yeah, and then like some of them get bitten for it, and they'll end up in the hospital. It's like at some point you're sitting there and you're doing something that is,
you shouldn't be doing. When I say that's a and that's what I mean. Like when I say you're participating, like if I saw that campaign, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this. This sounds fun. Let's see if I get cursed. Ooh, type thing. You're participating in it versus just buying something and drinking it. You know what I mean?
unknowingly. Yeah. Like,
Well, no, knowingly. Like if you knew this was happening, you go buy it because you knew this was happening. You
Right.
knew this campaign was going on.
Oh yeah.
I think you're inviting spirits into your life.
Oh,
I
100%.
think
You're playing with fire.
Yeah, you're playing with fire.
The fire might not burn down your house, or you might drop it and it might just do exactly that. I mean, how much are you going to play around with like opening the door, shutting it just in time for the demons to hit it before, they might get a foot in there?
You're drinking something that literally they're trying to attract demons to you, and you go, I don't need any more of that in my life. I'll tell you that much.
Well, yeah, because it's like you don't realize like how detrimental that can be in ways that you're not even expecting. You might think, oh, it's just going to be spooky. What if that's a spirit of fear that they put on you? What if now you have a demonic spirit of fear where now all of a sudden, I've talked about it before, but the panic attacks, anxiety attacks, like people think that it could just be, oh, it would just be scary and I'd get over it. I'd just have a priest come over. Well, it could be a real personal problem. It could be an issue with your health. It could be an issue with your psychology. It could be an issue with anything.
Yeah.
You might develop these symptoms. Like, I feel like people have a very Hollywood version of demons.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to wake up in the
that's
middle of the
so
night and
true.
there's going to be a face there and it's going to be spooky, but then I'll figure it out. I've watched the movies. What if it's something that takes root in you?
In your life, like fear, like anxiety, like
Why-
depression.
You might be having, even right now, you might find that your anxiety, your fear stems from doors that you've left open. And now these demonic entities, this demonic nature has taken a root in you. And at some point, you couldn't control it.
Right.
All those things come from a spawning point.
Right.
Comes from a door that was opened or left open, either you let open, there's generational curses, but the demonic can manifest in a lot more way than a spooky movie would have you think.
Right.
It can become completely derailing to your life.
You might not get on the ceiling and spin your head and vomit, Yeah,
you might just have an incident where you're driving and something makes you so nervous that you just have a panic attack right there in the middle of the road.
Well, it's something that my little sister said to me long time ago that always stuck with me was, we were talking about scary movies, and she's like, well, a spirit of fear may not manifest in, a clown coming from your gutter or whatever, but it can manifest in your finance, being afraid for your finances, having a lack of peace in where you're, how you're going to pay for, your mortgage or this or that, having a lack of peace or fear in your relationships and things like that. And so that spirit of fear can manifest in different areas of your life. And I think, like you said, people have this Hollywood idea. And that's what Liquid Death was doing. They Hollywooded it up and they kind of made it into the spectacle. But it really is something that, like, make it cutesy, make it fun, make it harmless, quote unquote, make it something that is so outlandish and so so supernatural, if that's what you want to call it, that that's not real. It's not something, and that's my idea of the supernatural. Then I miss totally what is happening actually in the supernatural and the demonic influences that go on around me, because my idea of it is a spooky ghost, and my idea of it is, a little girl crawling out of the TV and climbing up on the wall and vomiting and all these different things.
It's not your sudden rage that you can't control.
Right.
It's not your sudden fits of rage that are so bad that you can't control them. That sudden fear that comes in and causes a panic attack, an anxiety attack, that weird need to seclude yourself because you just don't like people. It's all these little things that are brushed over. And there's biblical basis for this. People will say, oh, it's just psychology, but everything comes down to it's of spirits and principalities.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy to just kind of think, oh, I wasn't affected by it, or that was a fun game, when that's not the goal. The goal isn't to get a spooky ghost in your house. It's not to scare you in the middle of the night and give you some adventure in your life.
It's to steal, kill, and destroy.
It's to steal, kill, and destroy. And
I think what the company was banking on is most people don't really believe in those kinds of things.
Right.
100%.
Most people, even Christians, don't really have much belief in the demonic.
No.
Right.
And
it's Hollywood.
I know
it's a
Christians.
Hollywood thing.
And, I grew up in a church. Don't go there anymore, obviously. But I know Christians and grew up in a church where that kind of stuff wasn't really believed.
Right.
Or they believe it, but they'll also accept. So they'll believe the more, I guess, extreme cases, but they won't believe that the psychology is related to it.
Right. So like anxiety, fear, and depression and all those things, they don't consider that to be like
a spiritual
issue.
Go see a psychologist, get some medicine.
But if they see like demonic possession where people are doing things like climbing on walls and stuff, then they believe it.
Floating.
But, yeah.
They like to divorce the whole, spirit. Like when you really get a grasp of everything is of spirits and principalities, you really can see that that everything is affected by the spiritual.
Right.
And you begin to see that these doorways that are left open, I mean, sure, they can be more extreme cases. They can go that direction. But more often than not, Satan likes deception. He likes to be subtle. He's been doing this for years and years and years. And even though it's the same tricks, he's refined them.
Right.
And the best way to do it isn't to come across as supernatural. It's to come across as that anxiety, that fear for yourself or a family member, that subtle, oh, it's just me being, healthy. I'm just worrying about the person.
Right.
It's just a healthy worry that I have for my child.
Right.
My friend, it sneaks in those subtle ways, but the truth is there's the root, and the root is fear, it's anxiety, it's anger, all these different things, lust. It can sneak in as all these things, and these are spiritual issues that we want to try and make psychological.
Right.
And they become psychological.
And they become psychological because I believe you can become sick in the head.
Oh, absolutely. They
And
become that.
It's like as your body can get sick, so can your mind.
And, I don't think it's any strange thing that there's, a correlation with all these people with anxiety and fear and stuff. And you get all these movies now, these horror movies that are literally just rituals.
Right.
I mean, you look, and I can't remember the names of them because I'm not a horror movie guy anymore, but all the horror movies nowadays are literally just actual demonic rituals.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And they'll openly say, oh, I researched, what this ritual was, and I just want to put it in a movie.
Right.
And so they're doing that to their audience.
Right.
Yeah.
So some crazy, crazy stuff. But the biggest thing, the Bible tells us that, don't rejoice that you have basically power over the demons, but rejoice rather that your name is written in the Lamb's book of life. And Christ came and he put all principalities and all powers under his feet, all the demonic under his feet. So that means your anxiety, that means depression, that means anger, that means lust. All those things have been put under Christ's foot. And the way to become free from those things is the Bible says that those who call upon in the name of the Lord shall be saved. And it says that the truth will set you free. And there's nothing else true in this world than the word of God. And so I would encourage you that if you want to have a relationship with the Lord, if you're facing these things, you go, you know what, I need to do something different. Jesus is the answer. He is the way. He is the truth, and he is the life. And no man can come through the Father except through him. So the Bible says that if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus Christ died, that and rose again, that you will be saved. So I would encourage you that just simply say, Lord, I repent for my sins. I repent for my rebellion against you. I ask that you come into my life. I believe that you died and that you rose again, and I submit my life to you. Fill me with your Holy Spirit and help me walk in a way that's pleasing to you. And if you made that commitment to the Lord, I would encourage you, reach out to us. Let us know. We have discipleship material that can help you in your walk with the Lord, not just living a life that is hypocritical, go to church on Sunday and that's it, but a life that walks with the Lord on a daily basis, and you see God move in your life and you see God's image shine through you.
In the fire of a prophet's flame, he baked the bread that bore God's name. Barley, lentils, wheat, and spelt, judgment rising in what he knelt. A famine's truth, a sacred sign, a recipe through space and time. And still we eat that ancient word like hidden manna we once heard. We are flickers in the midnight, candles trembling in the smoke, like nightlights in a war zone, giving off a holy glow, while the world drinks from a chalice, drenched in death's ironic flow. We break the bread, not drink the poison, and let the living waters grow. Silver cans with cursed delight, mocking thirst with death in white. Symbols twist what's pure and clean, selling rituals to the unredeemed. But deep inside, a spark survives, a glowing pulse that testifies that light was lit when breath was breathed, not bought with brands or hollow dreams. So feed us, Lord, with what you gave, the bread that speaks from out the